Okay, it's officially 9 a.m. I'm going to take attendance at 9:03. Okay, so 9:03 is when I will be taking attendance. I don't know if you guys can definitely hear me. Okay, need to have your cameras on also. I'll be a little, loose end this week, but next week, not so much. Okay, like we mentioned. Okay, oh, there's Marco. Okay, that's a different Marco. Got it. Oh, there's Joshua. Oh, Saul, Jesus, Genesis, good morning. Enrique, Dustin, who needs his camera on. Okay, up Yvette. Do I have an Yvette? I do not know if I have an Yvette. I'll let them in anyway, because they can't share screens anyway. Okay, again, 9:03 is when we'll get started. We are doing a lesson today, and we do have homework today, and you do have a quiz that is due tonight, by the way. Actually, I'm going to adjust it, I'll make it due tomorrow instead, okay? But in any case, you do have stuff that is due tomorrow at midnight. Just a heads up. Sophia, do I have a Sophia here? Huh, okay, whatever. I'll let her in anyway. All right, 9:02. We'll get started in less than a minute. Less than 1 minuto. Menos de un minuto. Oh, Fernando Jaime, of course. All right, then. Okay, less than 1 minute. And then from there, I'll take attendance real quick. And then we will begin after the fact. Don't have a lot of kids today. Got a lot of kids emailing me to get stuff. It's like, okay, whatever. It's like, read the directions. Thank you guys for following directions. If you guys read the email about, how to get my Google Classroom code, you have to register, or to get my Zoom code, you're supposed to register for Google Classroom. And then you get the link there. I guess, you know how it goes. All right. It's 9:03. So let me take attendance real quick. Christina, you're here. Daniel. Going once, going twice. No bueno. Got it. Sebastian. No bueno either. Vivian. No Vivian either. Oh boy. All right. Let's see. Michelle Cortez. Oh, this is no bueno also. All right. Victor Cruz, you're good. Joshua, you're good. Enrique. He's there actually. Genesis, Elizabeth, Justin. There's a Dustin there. Andrea Guzman, I saw you there earlier. Fernando, Ivy. Yep, we're good. Julissa. Yup. Saul, Abigail, there you are. No, yes, camera. Sitlali, Jeremy. Is Jeremy there? Boom, he's not there. Sad story. Got it. Marco Ramirez. Yep. Luis, I thought I saw Luis there. I did not. Okay. Jesus, you're good. I saw him. Yep, you're there. And then Eduardo, who's about to check in a sec. Oh, I see a chat. Mr. I'm here. Sebastian. Well, I don't. Yeah, there you go. Now you're good. All right, my bad, Sebastian. You're good. You're present. Boom. Clicking submit. We're all set. Okay. So if you're in this class, you're either retaking or taking me for the first time. Whether or not we are going back to school physically at hopefully some point in time, hopefully sooner than later, everything's going to be online. All of your homework's going to be online. All of your quizzes are going to be online. All of your tests are going to be online. Okay, 100,000%. Okay, irregardless. All right. So what I want to do first is run down how this class is going to be laid out so that it's all student-centered. Okay, number one. All right. So let me share my screen real quick. And let me pull up my Google Classroom. Which is going to be this right here, classroom.google.com. By the way, one more thing. I can also see your faces because I got a second monitor. So for example, I'm going to drag this over here and I can see Sitlali thrilled to be here. I can see Victor Cruz looking down at maybe not his phone or maybe his phone. I'm not sure. In any case, I can still see you guys irregardless because right here is my lecturing monitor and right there is my person viewing monitor. So Don't think that you cannot get away with it, all right? So you guys are in period 4, okay? And here's how the class is gonna be laid out. So number 1, everything's gonna be online, okay? Your textbooks will be online, quizzes will be online, and the way that we're gonna run this class is this. If you wanna schedule office hours, first things first, is I know a lot of you guys are gonna wanna schedule office hours, okay? Right here is what's known as Calendly, okay? And Calendly is a calendar that lets me know that you guys wanna schedule an office hour with me, okay? So you guys are now responsible. Last year I had people say, Mr., can I schedule office hours? Mr., can I do this? And then they would forget, okay? I'm not gonna have that happen this time, okay? And that was kind of on both of us, all right? So when you click on Calendly, okay, you're gonna click on a 30-minute office hour meeting, okay? And this is my availability, okay? And I'll adjust it as we go along, okay? So notice that today, I am not making myself available today, but I'm making myself available tomorrow, okay? If you click on the date that you want an office hour, boom, right there, okay? Those are the times that I'm available, between 2 and 4:30. So 2 o'clock, and you have a half-hour session. If you want to schedule an office hour with your friends, just let them know and they can join in. For office hours, we can go over homework, we can go over fixing your quizzes, we can go over fixing your tests, okay? Those are the only ways that you can raise your grade, okay? Aside from extra credit, which I have posted on what's it called? On Google Classroom also, okay? So this is how you're gonna be scheduling your office hours, okay? So you're gonna click on the link, click on the little tab, and then you're gonna select a time. So for example, Wednesday, August 12th, 2 o'clock. You're gonna type your name, your email. If you wanna add guests, you don't have to, but what's it called? Actually, yeah, if you could add the guests, that'd be great. For the emails also, that'd be awesome. Just share what you wanna do. If you wanna send a text reminder, that's fine for yourself. And then once I get that notification, I will send you a link for the Zoom, okay, for the office hours right away. So you'll get that right away. I'll get a notification that lets me know that you're gonna schedule an office hour, and then we're good to go, okay? Any questions? Any questions?
No.
Oakley, thank you, Genesis. All right, like I said, it's up to you guys. It's not up to me, okay, to get all this done. Secondly, your quizzes are online. You have a quiz that is due. I'm gonna have to readjust it. It's actually, I'll make it adjusted. It'll be due tomorrow instead because you guys had not had me yet. So I'm gonna adjust it to make it due tomorrow, okay? All of my quizzes and all of my exams are going to be timed, okay? All right, so I'm gonna show you guys an example, okay? You are gonna be making accounts later on, but we'll do that later on this week, okay? So if you type in your name, for this particular quiz, you're gonna click on Start Now. The secret word will be in the description. And notice how it says the password, first quiz. You're gonna type in first quiz, boom, and it'll take you to the quiz, okay? Notice how there's a timer, okay? And notice how these are the 5 questions. All the questions will be there. When time is up, okay, this is important. When time is up, the quiz will shut off, and whatever you've got typed in will be sent to me right away, okay? And it is very sensitive, okay? Very sensitive in a way, okay? So with these, please follow the directions. Number 1, if you're only doing a couple questions, please make sure that you answer all the questions before time is up, okay? As best to your ability, all right? So in this case, when we go back to school, all of your exams are gonna be like this also, okay? Everything, like I said, is gonna be online, guaranteed, okay? That'll be the adjustment there, and that's a major adjustment also, okay? Are there any questions on the quizzes? Okay, so you do have a quiz that is due tomorrow at midnight. Here's the other, and I forgot to mention this too. If you miss the deadline, so for example, right, if I say the quiz is due at midnight, after midnight tomorrow, you cannot access the quiz. The quiz will be inactive, which means you got a 0 on the quiz, okay? Because you decided to take the quiz late. We're not gonna use class time to take quizzes. We're not gonna use, well, we are gonna use class time to take tests. We'll not have a Zoom that day, okay? But we're not gonna use class time to take a quiz because I wanna use this time to talk about math, okay? So when we're meeting together, we are talking about math, okay? Are there any questions? Okay, so Okay, so also, like I said, so the reason why we're only using Zoom time to lecture for these quizzes or tests, you can take them anytime as long as you take it within the window. So if you're busy, you know, like let's say right now, if you're busy right now, you can't make class, that's fine, right? You still have the quiz you have to do, you still have your homework you have to do. And all my lectures will also be online, okay? I'm gonna post the video of our lecture when we're done with class, okay? So that's gonna come hand in hand there, all right? So when we meet together, like I said, we are not using time to take the quiz. We are talking about strictly math, okay? Are there any questions of what I just mentioned? Oakley dokley. No one in the chat? Okay, the textbook will be also online too. Okay, the syllabus is there. There's also extra credit, okay? And you have until Sunday at midnight to complete it. The link's gonna be active when that time passes, okay? Very important. And all the passwords are gonna be there too, okay? On Thursday, we are gonna be making accounts for these, by the way, too, so just a heads up. So we're gonna be, you know, wary on that for sure, all right? So, with that being said, I think that covers everything that I wanted to talk about there. Your homework we're going to talk about at the end of class because I do want to start lecturing. One final thing. In order for you guys to be successful in this class, you cannot just sit there and you cannot just the whole period, okay? You need to have a notebook. If you thank you, Marco, okay? Thank you, Victor, okay? I know that we can't, I can't give you guys notes, okay? And it stinks that I can't do that. However, you now need to be responsible, okay? If you're just gonna sit there and expect to absorb the information, you're gonna forget. So you need to take notes, okay? Yes, I'm saving the videos, but now this year, okay, it's all about student accountability. So you guys are accountable for this. If you guys choose not to take notes, it's on you, not on me. I see a chat real quick. Let me see the chat. If it pops up, there we go. Mr. I'm here, I came late. You're fine, Jeremy. You're fine. Thank you for letting me know. All right, so that covers all of that. Let me see my email again to see if anyone, yep, of course. Let me see this. Is that the wrong passcode? All right, yeah, yep, that, and okay, whatever. He'll figure it out later. Okay, here we go. Let's get to it. 1-1, our first lesson of the day, and it's actually very simple. Now, a lot of this stuff, by the way, you guys are going to tell me on how to do it, okay? You guys are going to walk me through just about everything, okay? As much as we can, all right? And by the way, I am teaching bell to bell, okay? For those who had me last year, if we've got like 10 minutes left, we're going to use that time to at least talk about the homework, okay? For the most part. If we're maybe with 5 minutes left, we'll maybe end a little bit early, but I'm going to try to juice up as much time as we possibly can, okay? So let's take a look here. A diver is going through ocean search and rescue training, okay? The graph shows the relationship between her depth and time in seconds since starting her dive. So one thing I want to talk about real quick is this right here. That X, in this situation here, what does the x-axis represent? In this situation here, what does the x-axis represent?
So time.
Time.
That is true. That does represent time. Very good. But let's actually be a little bit more specific when it comes down to where the diver is. Okay. So the entire yes.
Do you know Louis Reyes? He came here late because he didn't get the email for the Google Classroom.
Okay, so I don't have an email from him though.
Yeah, he's emailing you right now.
Got it.
I'm gonna just send him the code though.
Okay, yeah, if you can send him all the stuff, that'd be great. You send him the stuff and then yeah, just send him the stuff right away because I'll be busy with this here. Okay, yeah, just send him the stuff right away. Okay, all right, so yeah, it does represent time, so that's good. However, what about the diver in particular? So that whole x-axis besides time in this situation would represent the what? Begins with the S. It's the blank of the blank.
Isn't the S seconds, mister?
No, yeah, it is gonna be seconds for sure. However, what I'm saying is, like in this situation here, right? Wherever the diver is, this x-axis, if he were swimming, when he reaches the x-axis, where is the diver? It's on the S of the W. Y. Sir?
Surface of the water?
Thank you. Surface of the water. Perfect. Okay. So that entire, aside from time, the x-axis also represents the surface of the water, right? Because the y-axis represents how high or where he is above water or below water. Okay. So let's take a look at these questions here. Very good, by the way. Okay. In this point right here, what details can we determine about the dive from the coordinates of the point 5, -8? So here's the coordinate, 5, -8. Okay. What does that point tell us? That particular point in a complete sentence. Can anyone tell me? Go ahead, Josh.
In 5 seconds, the diver goes 8 feet.
Boom! That's exactly what I'm looking for. In 5 seconds. So in 5 seconds, the diver is 8 feet underwater. Okay. The diver is 8 feet underwater. Okay, and I didn't see the chat there. It took 5 seconds to dive 8 feet below the water. Yes, also. Okay, very good. Eduardo, also very good job too. Okay, so yes. Okay, so for all of those points, right? Anytime the point is below the x-axis, the diver is underwater, right? Whereas if the diver is above the x-axis, the diver is above the water. Okay. For part B, what is the average speed of the diver in the water? When you see the word average, what comes to mind?
Approximate.
No. Begins with an S.
Is it slope?
It is exactly slope. Okay.
Yeah.
So in order for us to find the slope, this should look familiar. Y minus y over x minus x. Does that look familiar? Dear God, quiet class, even though there's like 30 million kids on my right monitor. But in any case, okay, so we can find the slope, right, of any of the 2 points. However, we want to find the slope of the diver in the water, right? So what we need to do is basically find 2 points, right? So let's take this point right here and then this point right here and find the slope from this line, okay? So this point is 1, 0. Let's find the slope in red. Okay, if this point right here is 5, -8, what 2 numbers are going to subtract on the top? Remember, it's y's on the top, and which 2 values represent the y's?
0 minus -8.
Exactly. Good. So it's 0 minus -8. And then on the bottom, it's going to be 1 minus 5. So therefore, it's going to be 8 over -4, which is going to be -2. So every second, the diver is swimming 2 feet below the surface. However, let's go now in a different direction. What if we want to see the diver going up? Let's take that point right there, 9, 0. It's the exact same thing, okay? It is going to be -8 minus 0 over 5 minus 9, which is going to be -8 over -4, which is 2, okay? So in this case, we get different instances of different speeds, okay? Depending on any 2 points that we choose. When the diver is going downward, it's swimming downward 2 feet a second, but when it's swimming back upward, it's also swimming upward at 2 feet a second, okay? Whereas that negative, he's going below water. The positive, he's going above water, okay? Oh, I see a chat. Let's see what the chat says. Hi, mister, I am here now. Congratulations. All right, last one, part C. Which point on the graph shows the starting location of the diver? And yes, Luis, I saw you there too, so you're good. Okay, which point on the graph shows the starting location of the diver? So if you look at this graph right here, we want to figure out where the diver started. And I'll give you a hint. It's on the far left side. So I'm going to erase all of this information here that we don't need. This is all irrelevant to what we're looking for.
He started at 2 feet above the sea level.
Not below.
Oh, no,
Not
I said
below.
above. I said
Oh,
above.
above, yeah, good. It is above because right there is the Y-intercept, right? So the starting point is the Y-intercept. Jeremy, I am proud of you. Very proud of you, right? So we can say what point on the graph? It's at 0, 2, and it's the Y-intercept. It is the Y-intercept, okay? This is all we're pretty much talking about today, okay? Finding X and Y intercepts, slope, increase, decrease, positive and negative, okay? It's very, very, very simple, okay? So here we go. We're gonna separate, oh, and by the way, also domain and range, okay? Domain and range, we're gonna talk a little bit about it more or less, okay? For domain and range, what variable represents domain? Anyone sending something in the chat? Nope. All right, what variable represents domain? You only have two choices, guys. What variable? Let's see the chat.
0.
Let's see that zero's not a variable. That's a number. Not Y either. So if it's not Y, what is it? It is X. Very good. So domain represents all the X's, whereas the range represents all of the Y's. Oh, why is the chart not working? Wait, nope, I'll fix it later. Okay, domain represents all the X's, whereas the range represents all of the Y's. Okay, now domain, if it represents all the X's, it's basically all the X's that give us an answer. Okay, the easiest way to look at it is through a graph. Okay, so let's take a look at part A. Okay, notice how the domain, if it represents all the X's, if I were to stretch the graph all the way to the left and I stretch the graph all the way to the right, does every X give me an answer? If I stretch the graph left and right forever and ever, does every X give me an answer? Guys, it's either yes or no. If I stretch the graph left and right forever and ever, does every X give me an answer? No one in the chat, no one. Okay, tell me what X does not give me an answer. What number X does not give me an answer?
I don't know. I guess, Mister. I've always had problems with domain and range. I never get it.
I know, and you're not the only one either, because for some odd reason, it's a very tough topic. Okay, if I stretch the graph all the way, well, if I plug in 0, what's the answer? -3. If I stretch the graph all the way to the left, the graph's going to continue. If I stretch the graph all the way to the right, the graph's also going to continue. So does every X technically give me an answer? Yeah.
Yes.
So we can say the domain is all real numbers, okay? The domain is going to be all real numbers. Joshua, thank you for saying yes. Elizabeth, you are incorrect there, okay? So the domain for this is going to be all real numbers, okay? Whereas the range, okay? The range are all the possible answers. Now we look at it vertically, okay? Based on this particular graph right here, what is my smallest answer? Going all the way up and all the way down, what is my smallest answer? What number is my smallest answer? Anybody?
Would it be -1?
Not -1, because notice how -1 right here,
Oh,
happens right here and right
-3.
here. Exactly, -3. So I can say my range, right, would be any number that's -3 or bigger. So let's talk about domain real quick, okay? The domain is all real numbers because every x gives me an answer, okay? And then the range, we can say that y has to be bigger or equal to -3 because anything bigger than -3 will work. Anything less than -3 does not work. Why? Well, here's -4. Well, -4 is not on the graph. So therefore, it's not a part of the answer. It's not a part of the range, okay? The easiest way, like I said, to do it is to look at a graph, okay? Is to look at a graph here. Now, we're gonna be using notations in order for us to list this out. And the way that we're gonna do it is through interval notations. I'm not a fan of the set builder notation. I like interval notation instead. So something like this, for example, okay? Notice how we've got brackets right here, okay? That means we are including the number in our solution. If I were to look at this on a number line, for example, boop, 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 3 and 4, okay? I know 3 and 4 exist as an example, okay? Let's do that. Let's shade this. But I'm including 3 and 4. So I'm going to put a hard circle above 3 and 4. However, if I see something like this, okay, open bracket, okay, 3, and then a close bracket at 4, same thing, number line, okay, I'm going to shade in between. But what's going to happen now is that 4 is going to be a closed circle, but the 3 is going to be an open circle because I'm not including it. So this is not include. And then this is include. Okay. For infinity and negative infinity, they're always going to have a parentheses no matter what. So if you notice these here, boop and boop, any parentheses, or sorry, any infinity will always have a parentheses. Victor, thank you for taking notes. Ivy, you look very happy to be here. Super duper happy to be here. Thrilled that you're happy to be here. Genesis, where'd you go, Genesis? Oh, there you go, Genesis. Justin, Fernando, are you there? I see like half of your face. Just Louis, Louis Reyes, are you there? There you go, boom. Okay, remember, in order to be successful, you need to have a well, I'm not there. You need to have a notebook. No notebook, no success. All right, take a look at part B now, okay? An air tanker flies over forest fires and drops water at a constant rate until the tank is empty. What is the domain and range of the function that represents the volume of water the air tanker can drop in X seconds, okay? So we know the range automatically. That is our range. And notice how the range, the tank can hold from 0 gallons to 8,000 gallons. However, okay, we know that the tank can spew the water at 400 gallons a second. And as you guys talked about earlier, seconds represents the domain, right? So we need to figure out how long it's going to take for a tank, if it's full, to empty, okay? So I'm going to take 8,000 divided by 400, boop, it's 20. So therefore, my domain is from 0 seconds to 20 seconds, okay? In this particular situation here, okay? So we've got a try it piece. We are going to talk about a few things together. I know the graphs got cut off, so I'm going to make some of my own here, okay? So let us make a new whiteboard here real quick. Come on, there we go, and boom. Okay, so let's say I gave you guys this, okay? Y equals, actually I like this, the absolute value of X plus 2, okay? This is going to be a V-shaped graph, and the hard point is going to be at -2, 0, okay? Just like we talked about, if the graph stretches forever and ever left and right, what is going to be my domain?
Infinity, right?
Infinity, right? Negative infinity to infinity. Okay, very good. Now let's talk about the range. Okay. What is my, if I go up and down, what is my smallest answer?
Isn't it -2?
No, that's for the X. I'm talking about the Y's, right?
Oh.
So now we're looking at it up and down. And notice I didn't put any dash marks because I don't really need them. Because what is the answer when X is -2? If I go up and down, what would this point right here be? When
Wait,
X is
wait.
negative, when X is
Wouldn't it
-2,
be-
what's the Y?
Wouldn't it be like negative infinity if it goes from that way?
Well, negative infinity would be all the negative answers, right? But we don't have any negative answers at all. So those don't exist. So what is the y value when x is -2? Look at that pointer here. I don't need any dashes. When x is -2, what's the y value?
0.
Exactly, 0. So that means that 0 is my smallest answer. So it's from 0 to infinity. Okay, let's do something a little more simple. Okay, if I give you guys this, y equals x minus, actually let's make it negative x minus 4 squared plus 2. And if I were to graph this here, okay, it is a parabola, by the way. Okay, there's my vertex, and the graph's going to do this. The domain's not going to change. Okay, the domain is not going to change. Because does every x in this particular function or in this graph give me does every x give me an answer? If I stretch a graph all the way left and all the way right, does every x give me an answer? Guys, if I stretch the graph all the way left and all the way right,
Yes.
yes, it does. So I can say the domain is negative infinity to infinity. Whereas the range, though, this changes things a little bit, right? For the range here, notice this particular point right there, okay? That point right here is 4, 2. And that's my y value that I'm focusing on. Is 2 my biggest answer, or is it my smallest answer? Is
Smallest?
no.
Mm,
Okay, and the reason why it's not, Dustin, think about this. Smallest answer, it's the lowest point, right? But notice how it's not the lowest point. It goes up, then it goes down. So that means 2 is my biggest answer. So this means my range, my smallest answer, Dustin, and everyone else, is negative infinity. Because if you notice, that's a terrible infinity. If you notice, okay, I go all the way down, and the graph's going to go forever and ever all the way down, but it goes as high as +2. So my range will be from negative infinity to 2. Okay, any questions on domain and range? All right, let's move on here. Okay. So if we move on now from domain and range, let's now move on to X and Y intercepts. And it's as simple as it gets, okay? X-intercept, obviously it's wherever it crosses the x-axis. Y-intercept, it's where it crosses the y-axis. It's very simple if you visibly see the graph, because you can see where it crosses the x and y-axis. It's not difficult if they give you an equation. Okay, let's look at this here. A car starts to a journey with a full tank of gas. Here's the equation, but they give you the graph anyway, okay? What are the X and Y intercepts of the graph of this equation, and what do they represent, okay? Without even looking at this information, okay, let's talk about the Y-intercept right there, 0, 16. In this particular information, okay, in that point right there, what does the Y-intercept in this information represent?
The amount of gas the tank can hold.
Boom, Joshua, very good job. The amount of gas the tank can hold, okay? But now let's talk about the X-intercept, and the X-intercept is 320, 0. If the tank holds 16 gallons of gas, what does that X-intercept represent? Anybody but no, Joshua, anybody but Joshua. Thank you, Victor. How many miles the car can travel? Very good job. Okay, so those two pieces, right? The X and Y intercept represent different information. Joshua, good job. Victor, good job. Sit Lolly, I know you're tired, but we need to be back on track. I know. I feel your pain. Now, it's easy when you look at a graph and you can find the X and Y intercept. However, it changes things when they give you equations. In order to find the X-intercept, okay? In order to find the X-intercept, you plug in 0 for Y, okay? If you want to find the y-intercept, you plug in 0 for x. It's amazing how I'm pulling my hair when I ask students, okay, tell me how to find the x-intercept. What's 0? And they're like, B, R, and then I lose it so much that I get my neighbors yelling at me saying that I'm too loud because they get frustrated, okay? X-intercept, plug in 0 for y. Y-intercept, plug in 0 for x, okay? Now, to find when we find the x-intercepts, this is also important. There's different ways that we're saying that we're looking for x-intercepts, okay? Finding the roots, finding the zeros of a function, okay? And then finding the solutions, okay, to the equation. Those are common ways of saying we're looking for the x-intercept, okay? So let's now look at this. We're gonna do this quick try it, okay? And we're gonna do it over here as a matter of fact. Boop, boop, okay? Let's find the x-intercept. And once again, in order to find the x-intercept, what has to be 0? Anybody?
Y.
Very good, Victor.
Y.
Okay. Now, one more thing, okay? Before I move forward, this g of x right here, that's the name of the function. But what variable does a function represent?
G.
Not g.
Squared.
Squared? Squared's not a variable. What variable does?
The
What var-
y-intercept?
Yes, Michelle, it represents y. So whenever we name a function, we're using that to denote what the y is. Okay, what y is essentially. So when we're plugging in 0 for y, that g of x is going to turn into 0, right? So we get 0 equals 4 minus x squared. Okay, and our goal is to get x by itself. I'm going to subtract 4. I'm going to divide by a negative. And I'm going to have 2 answers. What are the 2 answers going to be? If I square root 4, guys, if I square root the number 4, when I square root 4, what would I get? 2. So I get 2, but there's also another answer. Besides 2, what would it be? 2 and?
2 and 2?
Well, remember, whenever we square a number, right, it's always going to be positive. So that means the number can be both positive and what?
Would it be
Negative.
I heard negative and yes. And Joshua, what were you going to say?
No, never mind.
Got it. Well, it's
Negative
2 and
2, isn't
negative.
it?
Yes, negative 2 would be the other one, right? Because whenever I square a number, it's going to turn to a positive number irregardless. Okay, that's how you find the x-intercept. To find the y-intercept, what has to be 0?
X.
Good, x is 0. So in this function right here, we're going to change x to 0. So I get y equals 4 minus 0 squared. Therefore, y is equal to 4. Boom. By the way, we need to write these as ordered pairs just to be safe. So it's 2, 0, and then negative 2, 0. And then this one would be 0, 4, because that represents the y-intercept. Okay. Any questions on this? Okay, I like how a lot of you guys are taking notes down. Okay. I like how you guys are using your cuadernos. Si no usan su cuaderno, okay, no van a pasar mi clase. ¿Entiende sí o no? Good. Me encanta que Genesis entiende. Perfecto. Gracias, Victor Cruz. All right, moving on. All right, so now we're going to talk about domain range X and Y intercepts, now to positive and negative, okay? Whenever you see this, this talks about the answers. But you're using the X's to denote where those answers are positive and negative, okay? So let's look at this here. For what interval is this function here positive and when is it negative, okay? Well, it's above the x-axis right here and right here, right? So I can say it's positive in two instances. Notice how it stops being positive at -3 and it starts being positive again at 3, okay? So I can say it's positive from -infinity to -3, and then it's positive again from 3 to infinity. However, now let's talk about negative. Well, it's negative below the x-axis, right? Therefore, it's negative between -3 and 3. And notice how I put parentheses around them, because notice at -3 and 3, the answers are 0. And notice how I wrote it the exact same way as the description, okay? Remember, positive and negative describes where the answers are above the x-axis and where they're below the x-axis, okay? And obviously, the easiest way to do it is by graphing it, okay? Here we go. I like this one. For what intervals is h of x equaling 2x plus 10 positive? Before I even ask you guys where it's positive and where it's negative, everyone should tell me how to graph this. What kind of graph is this going to be? I'll give you a hint, and I'm going to make sound effects. Bleh equals bleh bleh plus bleh. What comes to mind when you hear those sounds?
Y equals mx plus b.
Exactly. See, I love how Joshua took my sound effects and then he went, I can fill in those for letters, right? When you see y equals mx plus b, what kind of graph are you making? Oh boy, guys. Oh boy. When you see y equals mx plus b, what kind of graph are you making? When you're given y equals mx plus
Is it a positive?
no, what I'm asking is the type of graph. I'm not asking for
Okay.
positive or negative. I'm talking about the type of
Straight
graph.
line.
Thank you, Joshua. A straight line. Very good. We have a y-intercept, which is 10, and our slope is 2. Okay. Oh, did I see someone trying to come in? Maybe not. Never mind. Got it. C and 16. I don't got the best setup right now. That's fine. Okay. I'm going to move the chat over here. Actually, it won't work that way either. Boom. I'll do that. Okay. So let's draw the line real quick. Boop, boop. Okay. Here's the y-intercept. It's at 10. Okay. To find the next point, I'm going to go up 2 over 1. There's our next point. The x-intercept, when I plug in 0 for x, 0 for y, okay? 0 equals 2x plus 10. Negative 10 equals 2x. It's going to be negative 5. Okay, so I know it's going to cross right here at negative 5. So when I draw my line, boom, there you go. Okay, straight line where it's crossing at 10 for the y-intercept, and then the x-intercept is at negative 5. Now, we need to figure out where it's positive, and it's positive above the x-axis. When does it start to become positive? I know, Genesis. When does it start to become positive?
At 5, -5.
Negative 5. So I can say from negative 5 to infinity is where it's positive. Okay? Whereas when it's negative, okay, it's negative here. And it's negative from negative infinity to negative 5. There you go. Okay? Remember, positive above the x-axis. Negative, whoop, below the x-axis. Okay? Preguntas.
What kind of infinity is that, mister?
That is the worst infinity that you'll ever see. And I can make it even worse than that, Victor. A lot worse than that. Goodness gracious. I love how, by the way, if you want to criticize my writing all you want, this is my writing since I was in kindergarten. It's not changed since. Very sad. I know, Sitlali. I'm impressed myself. Okay. Increase and decrease. Okay. Remember, increase. Okay, actually, let's talk about in words. When you hear the word increase, what does that mean? Up. Very good. Decrease means down, obviously. Okay. So increase is up. decrease is down. Okay, so we're looking at the graph and we're looking to see when it's changing direction. Okay, look at this graph here. Notice how at that point, 0, 2 is where the graph is changing direction. Between negative infinity and 0, the graph is going up. Then from 0 to infinity, the graph is going down, right? So if you look at these intervals here, it's increasing from negative infinity to 0, which is this right here. And then it's decreasing from 0 to infinity. Okay, so let's take a look now at, let's look at a quick graph, for example, here. Let's do this. Let us do this. Yep, it will. Okay, so if I want to graph this function here, y equals negative x squared. Actually, no, I don't like the negative. Let's not take the negative there. Okay, x squared minus 8. Okay, if I were to graph this real quick, boop, beep, 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 beep. There's your vertex, and your graph's doing this. Okay, I should have moved the point. You know what? Yeah, let's keep it actually. Okay, so notice right here, that point 0, negative 8, okay, is where the graph is changing direction. Okay, this part of the graph right here, the left side, is the graph going up or down?
Up.
No. Remember, you're reading it like a book, so you're going from left to right. So you're going in that direction, right? So if there's a bug on the graph and the bug is going from the left side, the bug is going what direction?
Down to up.
It's going down, right? So that means it's decreasing from negative infinity to 0. Okay, that's a terrible infinity also. And then it's increasing all over again. There we go. Then it's increasing here, right? It's going to increase from 0 to infinity. Okay. So remember, decrease going down, increase going up, but you also want to pay attention to where the point is changing its direction. Okay. So let me give you guys actually one more example. If I give you guys this, y equals x. There's my graph. This graph is always going what? That straight line is always going what?
Up.
Up. So there's going to be an increase. The increase is from negative infinity to infinity. Is there a decrease? Is this graph ever going down?
No.
It's not. So this is going to be a sad face, because the graph here is never going down. Okay.
Wait,
Any
mister,
question? Yes, I already missed it.
if it's not going down, why is there an arrow facing that way?
Good question. Remember, you're reading it like a book. You're reading it from left to right. So if I go backward, I'm not going left, right? I'm reading it like a book from left to right. So pretend there's a bug, and the bug is going the direction the graph is going. The bug is always going from left to right. Okay, so you're always reading it like a book from left to right, 100% of the time. Okay. All right. We have I think one more topic to go over, and that talks about average rate of change. When you see the phrase average rate of change, you are finding the what? Begins with an S again.
Oh.
Yes, the slope. If they give you an interval to work with, these all represent the x's, okay? So if they give you an equation, what you need to do is find the answers and then from there find the slope, okay? So if you take a look at these right here, right? What should the average rate of change over these intervals indicate about the given function? Notice here, when I plug in -2 in for x, the answer is 1. When I plug in 0 for x, the answer is 1. And it's basically taking those 2 points and then finding the slope that way. If they give you a function, however, which we'll do right here, okay? All you gotta do is plug in the x's to find the y's. We're only gonna do this one right here, okay? So let's plug in -2. Okay, it's gonna be the absolute value of -2 and then +2. Whenever there's a number inside an absolute value, that number always turns what?
Positive.
Yes. So now it becomes 2 plus 2, which is 4. Okay. If I plug in 0, it's going to be 0 plus 2, and 0 plus 2 is going to be 2. This ordered pair is negative 2 comma 4. This ordered pair is 0 comma 2. And now from here, we're going to find the slope. And simply put, 4 minus 2 over negative 2 minus 0. That is going to be 2 over negative 2, which is negative 1. That is your average rate of change. So if they give you a function, you got to plug in the numbers. And then once you make your points, find the slope. It's that simple. Okay. Are there any questions? Okay. Okay, I like how Victor's taking notes. I like how Marco is taking notes. I believe Vivian also taking notes. Fernando has been kind of like existent, non-existent here and there. Abigail had her camera on, but not so much. I'm going to be a little loose this week on the camera, but starting next week, if you don't have your camera on, I will mark you absent. Okay, just a heads up. Okay, so that covers this lesson here.
I'm here though.
Yes. Okay, I didn't say that you weren't here. I just saw you like, well, I saw part of your head. My bad, Fernando. Okay, my bad, Fernando. Okay, so like I said, the textbook is there. Okay, the textbook is going to be there for you guys to look at. I am saving this lecture, by the way, just a heads up. I'm going to post it on YouTube later today. One more thing I want to show you guys is the homework before we're done for the day. I love how I'm getting all these emails saying that people want to get in and yet whatever. Okay, so your homework is posted online, okay? So when you click on the link, okay, it should go to take me there now, okay? When you sign in, it'll register you for the class. Do not forget to register for Google Classroom, okay? Does anyone not have the Google Classroom code? Everyone here has it.
No, I don't have it.
Okay, let me go back to this then, okay? If you do not have the Google Classroom code, it is right there. I'll give you guys like 15 seconds to copy that down. Eight more seconds.
Mister, you want to see something cool?
Sure, real quick.
Okay, look at this other.
Wow. Wow. Wow, you went from like middle left to now bottom left. That is trippy. Wow, and you guys are social distancing too, which is pretty cool. So adhering to the CDC guidelines. That is crazy, Genesis. Very crazy. All right. That is actually pretty cool. All right, so let's go back to this. Enrique, so you have it now. You guys have it there. Perfect. Okay, so now let's take a look at the homework, okay? When you click on the, what's it called? The homework, it'll take you to the homework. I'm actually going to guide myself from here to the homework. We're almost done, guys. We have like about another minute. Okay, so the homework is going to be all online, like I mentioned. Some questions will not have a lot of guidance, but others will. Okay, so for this particular question, some will have multiple choice, but a lot of it will have short answer. Okay, so you have your 4 answer choices here. There's your question there. If you need help on the question, you can watch a video. You can look at the textbook. There's a glossary of terms you can look up, and then math tools. You can also print it, but most likely you're going to do these 4. Okay, few questions are going to have these options. Other questions are going to have more stuff to do. Okay, so for example, question 8. Okay, this right here. All right, use a graph to determine the function's domain, blah, 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 blah. If you need help, boom, there are 2 things that you can use also. Help me solve this and view an example. If you click on view an example, it'll actually walk you through a different question. Okay, it'll walk you through a different question on how to do it. Okay, if you click on help me solve this, it's going to mark the question wrong unless you decide to do it the rest of it on your own. Then it's going to mark it partially correct. In order to get full credit, okay, you need to have 70% of the questions correct. If not, you're going to get 0 points. At the same time, if you do your homework on time, I'm going to give you a point extra credit on top of the point that I would give you for your homework. If you turn in your homework late, I'll still give you full credit, but you have until the day of your test, which I have no idea when your test is going to be. It's when the chapter's over, okay? Are there any questions on the homework?
No.
Okay, like I said, it's all accessible. Your homework is going to be due Thursday at midnight, okay? So you have 3 days to do it, okay? So today, tomorrow, and Thursday, because I don't see you guys again until Friday, okay? This lecture is also going to be posted online, okay? This particular one, because you guys are the cleaner, not the cleaner video, but a lot less craziness going on, okay? So if you guys need access to this, by all means, you have it here. I'll post it on YouTube later today. You'll see the link. It's a pleasure to have all of you guys in class, and I cannot wait to work with you guys all year long. And I hope that we can physically see each other when we begin the school, when we go back to school, okay? So other than that, one more thing, do not forget to register for Remind, okay? I'll send the links again, okay? I'm gonna resend the invites to everybody, but please register for Remind, because that's the way that I check my, that I check what you guys have issues with, okay? Emails, I don't respond very quickly. Remind, I do, because that's attached to my phone, okay? Any questions? Oakley dokley. We are done for the day, guys. I'm going to readjust the attendance to mark who is here and who is not here. So Vivian, you're good. Michelle, you're good. Jeremy, you're good. So the only person that was not here is Daniel. Poor Daniel. Okay, I will see you guys on Friday. If you have any questions, please let me know. Register for Remind. I'll see you guys on Friday.
Bye, Mr.
Take care, Genesis.